What's good? Bryant Cook, and tonight, thanks to Pim Langen, we are playing Black Red Reanimator in a Legacy League. This list actually won a Saturday challenge about 2 weeks ago. We're going to see how it fares, in Legacy. So this is a pretty stock deck in Legacy if you've never seen it before. It's usually in the top 10 best decks, give or take. And the basic strategy is you cast cards like Entomb to put Griselbrand into your graveyard, and then you bring Griselbrand back with Reanimate, Animate Dead, or Exhume. So you'll notice here there's an animate theme. This deck is called Reanimator because we're bringing things back from the dead. But we also have some pretty sweet targets that aren't Griselbrand. We have Archon of Cruelty from Modern Horizons 2. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a trigger that says your opponent sacrifices a creature, they lose 3 life, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. Pretty powerful. Not a legend for effects like Karakas. Same thing with Seer's Emissary, not a legend. That ends up being pretty huge in those white matchups. And then a Singleton Chancellor of the Annex, which you might think is a little bit odd because we only have one of them. You're not likely to reveal it from your opening hand. I get that, but there's a lot of games where you just want to draw a whole bunch of cards with Griselbrand and then make your opponent pay one more for their spells. You want to make it more difficult for them to have the answer, and that's what Chancellor is there for. You can also board into more copies, so then it becomes more likely to have that trigger in your opening hand, which is pretty good. But it's a pretty simple strategy. Put huge creatures into the graveyard, bring them back, and you can even use your discard spells like Unmask or Thoughtseize to target yourself, and then bring your creatures back as another discard outlet, which is pretty sweet. In the sideboard, we have another big target, Iona, Shield of Emeria. It is a legend, but you could completely shut off a deck like Burn by saying red, or green against elves, something along those lines. Alright, that's my deck tech. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. If you have any questions, put those down below. But I just want to hop on in and play some Legacy tonight. I hope you understand. I will see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. That said, there's no better way of showing your support than becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks, and we get to keep making combo content. The perks get better and better each level you go up. They also stack. To start off, with our Storm Fan tier, you unlock our private members section of our Discord, which comes with a highlighted user profile and then some awesome badges and emotes for YouTube. Looking for sideboard help? Become a Stormtrooper, our middle tier, for 2 sideboard guides of your deck choice every single month, on top of 50% off donation decks. Did we mention you also get 10% off merchandise from our shop? With our top tier, the Combo Cabal, you get a free donation deck every single month, 15% off merchandise from our shop, early access to private deck lists, and the most valuable perk in my opinion, videos early. That's right, you heard it, early access to all videos. But maybe sweet perk, secret deck list, early access to videos isn't for you, but you'd still like to show your appreciation. Make sure to check out theepicstorm.com/shop for card singles and Storm swag. Please don't forget to use your membership discounts. Finally, if you want to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel, make sure to visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks, where all you have to do is attach your TXT file and pick a donation tier. With our Epic tier, you can even join me in a video to showcase your bold brew in person and explain the ins and outs of your strategy. Card availability won't be an issue due to our new sponsor, Card Hoarder. With Card Hoarder, renting is super easy. If you're looking to get into Magic Online, there isn't a better, more affordable solution than Card Hoarder. Fun fact, you can rent the Epic Storm for 7 tickets a week, which is just a great deal. There are many ways you can support us. Just pick whatever is best for you. In the meantime, let's play some Magic. First match, we're on the draw. I've opened up a Grief that we could probably pitch this Dark Ritual, but then we have an Entomb, and then we have 2 more cards that put creatures into the graveyard. We don't have any Reanimate effects. I still think that this hand's reasonable. I think asking for one of your 12 Reanimates off of Faithless Looting is fine. Alright, turn 1 Misty for a Tropical Island. Noble, you got it. Is this Infect? I haven't seen Infect in a long time. Well, speaking of cards we want to put to the graveyard. let's start off with a grief, removing this dark ritual. Opponent has 5 cards. Grief will trigger. We want to stack this ability first. Alright, well, it's not, in fact, it's some sort of mid-range deck. So we're interested in taking the Grist here because we don't want them to be able to kill our creatures. Although the Teferi is also sort of bad. I guess we can play a spell into their days in order to slow this down. I think I'm into that. Okay, let's fetch. And I'm purposely going to cast this Entomb, knowing that they'll daze it. And I'd rather have these lootings in hand, so that way I can find Reanimate effects. So they took the bait. That's good for us. No, I will not pay. So then next turn I can Faithless Looting and hopefully find a Reanimate. They replay the Tropical Island into a Birds of Paradise. I imagine they'll attack for 1 here. They do not. Alright, another looting. I think it's pretty safe to play the Swamp here to avoid a drawn daze. Faithless Looting. We did not hit the Reanimate effect, but I think that's fine. Let's get rid of the Teferi if we can. Flusterstorm. Okay. Decent draw. Alright, so we're going to pass the turn. They have Bayou Teferi in hand. There's the Bayou. Attacking with the bird. Sure, we go to 18. And they are not tapping out. I imagine that means that they have some sort of response. But I'm just going to play the Exhume. Wow, runner into runner! Oh, that's devastating. Will this bring back the Grist? It does bring back Grist. I didn't even consider that. Alright, they got me. Yeah, I mean, they drew well. It happens. So let's go to the next one. I'm not going to recover from here. Yeah, there's no coming back from this. Okay. So let's try that again. I want the extra Thoughtseize on the play, I think. Probably want the Serenities. I don't actually know how to board in this matchup, which is probably a concern. Let's take out the Chancellor. Yeah, like, I have no idea how to board here. Maybe cut a few copies of Grief, and then don't board in the Thoughtseize. Let's try this. Alright, game 2, Chance at Redemption. So we have turn 1 Faithless Looting, and then hope that we draw into a Reanimate effect for our Gristlebrands. I think that's fine. Opponent with a mulligan to 5. Okay. Maybe I should be mulliganing more aggressively, but I feel like Faithless Looting discarding these 2 is probably okay enough. Alright, undo that. Let's try that again. Faithless Looting. Okay. What if I discard Serenity Gristle? And then pitch. No, I should keep the. Alright, it's just double Griselbrand, I think. And then we'll unmask now. The problem is that if they have Endurance, they can use it. And there's the Endurance. So our best draw just became Entomb. They have 2 lands. Pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs into a Hierarch. Draw. Part of me just wants to animate their Endurance. Or reanimate their Endurance. Alright, plan on. Maybe this is a bad idea. Because if they have a Teferi, they get their endurance back. I didn't consider that. Also, look at these draws. Like, drawing Brainstorm after... Interesting that they didn't play the Heath there. Okay. Very odd. So they didn't want to fetch that turn. And I get punished by the Teferi. Oh! So frustrating. It's my own fault. Yep. Like, I gave my opponent the opportunity to do this, so ultimately it's my fault, but also they've been drawing fairly well. We just have to pass. Reanimating the endurance was just silly. I shouldn't have done that. Yep. Pass the turn. Opponent pluses to Teferi again. We need to draw Entomb. Pass. 3 mana. Are you casting Endurance? Okay. They have 3 cards. They can plus Teferi again this turn. Alright. So we'll take 4. Draw. We have to pass. If we are lucky enough to win game 2, I don't know if I would keep in Serenity for game 3. I expected something other than the Endurance, but maybe that's just not correct. I don't play a whole lot of Reanimator, so I'm not familiar with all the grave hate that different decks play. And we are just drawing terribly. So you might be thinking, why don't I unmask and then reanimate one of their creatures with Animate Dead? Well, the problem is they have Teferi in play, so that's not actually an effective game plan. I'm at 4. Draw. We finally drew the Entomb, but I think it's just too late. Look at this hand, wow. They did not want to lose to Reanimator. Sure, you got it. Okay, well that was miserable. We are 0-1, but there's still 4 more rounds of Magic left to be played. If you haven't joined them already, I would recommend opening up our description down below and joining our 7 social media networks. They're each great in their own way, but I would strongly suggest joining our Discord server. In there, you will find others just like you looking to improve their Storm game and grow as a combo community. If you're a member of our YouTube channel, you should sync your account to Discord to unlock our private member section that has the latest and greatest deck lists, concepts, and much, much more. Let's get back to comboing out. Let's try that again. We're going to keep, we're on the draw. This hand's pretty powerful. We can put Griselbrand into play. We have Grief for interaction. We have the Reanimate spell. Things seem to be going well. And it looks like our opponent's either on Elves or Green-White Depths by the looks of it. Okay, so we want to draw a black card here to pitch to Grief. That is a black card to pitch to Grief. And the turn 1 Grief finds Endurance. So it's actually just 12 post. I imagine they have a main deck Bazooka Bog. So I don't know how we beat this Reclaimer. It's actually kind of obnoxious. Okay, pass the turn. And they drew Caracas. Alright, fetch. This is not our league. And they named Griselbrand? Yup. Okay, draw. Let's see if I can get lucky and hit a non-Griselbrand creature, or non-legendary creature here. Let's play the looting. There's no point to even putting the Griselbrand in the graveyard. Or, I mean, onto the battlefield, I mean. Just going to play a land and pass. Glimmer Post, you've got it. Draw. Let's try Flashing Back Thoughtseize. Or, I'm sorry, Flashing Back Faithless Looting. It's not looking good. I don't know. Whenever I face Reanimator, the deck seems unbeatable. When I play Reanimator, this is what happens. So hopefully this league gets better. Like we can only go up, right? Like it can't get actually worse than this. So let's hope that is actually true. Yep. I think we just hardcast Grief here. They have 3 cards. We know one of them is Cascading Cataracts. Maze of Ith. Classic. They're using Reclaimer, probably getting another Cloud Post. And there's the Maze. So they still have Cascading Cataracts in hand and then 1 unknown. Draw. I wonder if they'll let me reanimate the second copy of Grief. Looks like they're going to go get the Bajuka Bog. Okay. Let's attack for 3. Hiya! Only 6 more turns of this. 2 mana. They're using Reclaimer. Bryavugan. Yep. We don't have a whole lot of time. Alright, so we got crushed. Let's just go to the next one. Jeez. So I think we want the extra Thoughtseize versus the Endurance deck. Maybe this, like, do you board in Chancellors versus Endurance decks just because it counters it for free on the first turn? I don't know. So 64. I actually don't think Chancellor is very good in this matchup, so I'm just not going to bring it in. It does stop Endurance, but like once it's on the battlefield, who cares? Their deck makes 1,000,000 mana. Like it's just not going to be something that's worthwhile. I could board in something like Serenity or Wear Tear, but I think a majority of their interaction is just Endurance. Yeah, Wear Tear blows up Needle, but I'm just not going to worry about that. At least on the play. Maybe on the draw that changes. Okay, so we have turn 1 Grief. We can Thoughtseize our own Archon, but then we don't have the land. I'm going to go to 6. So this doesn't have the first turn discard spell, but has everything else. A little bit risky. Maybe we get rid of the Archon. Alright, so that felt like an F6, but it could just be bait. Entomb. Let's get the Griselbrand. Reanimate Griselbrand. Nope, not a bait. Draw 7. Grief, pitching Dark Ritual. Triggers. They had Endurance and they just F6'd? Come on, friend. Come on. Let's animate the Grief. We didn't deserve this one. It is Drew Caracas? There is no justice. Come on. Ugh. Shame on me, I guess. They Caracas the Gristle as expected. They'll take 2. Let's loot. Griselbrand, Delta. And let's Thoughtseize them going to 3. I think we take the Needle. Just have to hope that they don't draw a green source. I mean, that's really what I'm banking on here. Yep. Draw. Let's flashback loading. Reanimate's tough because I can't actually bring anything back. I mean, maybe I could bring back the Reclaimer. I got a Hardcast Grief next turn. Is that the line? I think I'm gonna go with... Wait. Oh no! I thought I flashed back. I cast the looting from my hand. Oh no. I am so bad at Magic. Alright. That was a mistake. Whoops. No green source, so we caught a little bit of a break there. I'll go to 2. Grab another Badlands, and we'll just play the Grief. I do like that you get a little bit of built-in backdoor with Grief. Like, you have a beatdown plan now off of, like, 2 lands in Dark Ritual. I mean, it's probably not going to win in a lot of matchups, but it's something. Cloud Post, okay. Draw. Interesting. I'm going to go to 1. Bring back the Reclaimer. I am the beatdown. This time we will actually flashback looting. Convert these 2. Play my land. I could have discarded the Badlands and the Reclaimer would have gone larger. I don't know if that's worth it. Like, in my head, I was like, I want to be able to flashback looting next turn and Exhume, but I could have done that off Dark Ritual. So maybe discarding Badlands would have been correct there. Map is good because it gets them a green source for their own Elvish Reclaimer. They pick up Yavimaya. Stirrings. Oh, they did not play their own Reclaimer there as a blocker. Alright, so I get another chance here to pump up my Reclaimer. Let's attempt to flashback again. Alright, so now our Reclaimer's big. Let's unmask them. Just take the Ugin. And get in for 8. Hiya! Is it good enough? Opponent plays Cloud Post, so now that Cloud Post taps for 3. So they have a total of 6 mana. They now play the Reclaimer. Grief Beatdown. You love to see it. But now we're going to game 3. That is not the match. Do I want to change anything? I don't think so. I'm just going to resubmit. This is a solid hand. We'll keep. Turn 1, Yavimaya. There's that pesky Reclaimer. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Alright, I'm just going to Thoughtseize. A lot of crop rotations. Take the Endurance, pass the turn. So they have crop rotation for Bojuka Bog up, which is a concern for us. They also have that off of Reclaimer as long as they draw a land. So I'm sort of hoping that they tap out here for the second Reclaimer. And then that gives us a window to Faithless Looting into a Reanimate. And they do not. So there's the Reanimate. I'm just going to pass the turn. Alright, so there's crop rotation number 1. So next turn I can now grief away the other into Entomb Griselbrand. So they have a Cloud Post. I'm going to fetch. Get the Scrub land, why not? The name Gristle, you got it. I think your opponent made a little bit of a misplay here by not just holding open the Bazooka Bog. Let's see if we can punish them. I think we just get Archon of Cruelty. Draw. Let's pitch the Grief. Triggers. We'll take the Crop Rotation. Reanimate the Archon of Cruelty. Triggers. Alright, we just picked up a win that I don't think we probably deserved, but I'll take it. We're 1-1, 3 rounds left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match 3 versus Koff J. They've revealed a Yorion. They tend to play a lot of blue mid-range piles, so not Death and Taxes, or at least that's not their norm. I'm keeping this hand. Well, it may seem a little bit weird. We do have 2 discard outlets for all these large creatures. We have 12 reanimate effects in our deck, so I feel like asking to draw a 12 of is pretty reasonable. Opponent just plays Misty Pass. Dark Ritual. Okay, let's play Grief, and I'm going to pitch the Archon of Cruelty. I want to keep this Dark Ritual around in case I draw Reanimate effects but no second land, or Entomb, I don't know. It just seems pretty free to just pitch the Archon here. Double Force, wow. Okay, let's try this Faithless Looting. Add a red, cast the Looting. Will they force it? And they do, pitching Icefang Quaddle. I consider that to be a win. Interesting that they did not play the turn 1 Ponder. Here we go on turn 2. Because the reason I think it's interesting is they had enough blue cards for both forces and they still chose to keep it. They have Brainstorm 1 Unknown. Come on, Reanimate. Lotus Petal. Okay, let's cast Faithless Looting, hope for the best. We did not get the best. So if I untap next turn, I have 6 mana if I discard Emissary Unmask. I think I just need to discard the creatures here. Pass the turn. Alright, main phase Brainstorm. They have the Misty Rainforest to convert it into a perfect Brainstorm, and they do. So they have 3 unknown cards in hand. Ponder, you've got it. They shuffled. Come on, deck. We have 12 Reanimates. Let's see one. Another Dark Ritual. Alright, let's try and unmask. See what they're working with. It stinks because if I had actually kept the Griselbrand, we could have hard cast Griselbrand right there. The odds of drawing Dark Ritual 3 were not very high, so it's not supposed to be a line that you take. It just happened to have been there. I have a bad feeling that this is like main deck Endurance right here, this pause. Nope, it's just a bunch of swords. Cool. Alright, this is a risky line, but I'm going to Dark Ritual Flashback Faithless Looting. So, ideally we would draw Reanimate. If we don't draw Reanimate, I discard the Dark Ritual and try to, you know, rip a land for Exhume or Animate Dead, something along those lines on the following turn. Okay, so Dark Ritual resolves, Flashback Looting. Okay, well, it's technically something. Unfortunately, we can't cast the Animate Dead right now, but maybe we'll draw a land. They just draw and pass. No such luck. Pass the turn. They play land 3. I imagine this is putting Yorion to hand, but we'll find out. Taiga, that's spicy. It is in fact putting Yorion to hand. Come on, deck. I don't think land 2 is this big of an ask. Alright, they pass again. Draw. I'm just being mocked at this point. This is ridiculous. Okay, they're casting something. Main phase Ice Fang Quaddle, sure. Draw. It's not a land, but it's a mana source. I'll take it. We'll pitch the Entomb. Play Grief. Trigger the Grief. That's all 4 Force of Wills. Come on. You're killing me here. Okay, we have to make them burn the Force. Attempt to Animate Dead the Griselbrand. This is going to be countered by Force of Will. Alright, so they have Birds of Paradise, Double Swords to Plowshares in hand. Boom bop. We'll take 1, 19. Draw. There we go. I don't think it really matters what land we get here, but let's just grab a swamp. And then Exhume. Our opponent has no creatures in graveyard. So I sequence the reanimate spells this way because this way I gain an extra life off their Swords to Plowshares. We will return Griselbrand. Activate and draw 7. Swords to Plowshares will be cast. We'll draw 7 more. Go down to 4 and then back up to 7 or back up to 11. Okay. We did not hit any free pitch things. So we'll just move to discard. I mean, this is decent though. Probably don't need 4 copies of Reanimate. Pass the turn. Alright, they're attacking with the Ice Fang. We'll take 1 down to 10. We know that they have swords. I can go to 8 and then Exhume again. I guess that's an option. Not use Reanimate. Okay, let's go to 8 life. Thoughtseize target you. Alright, so Force of Negation and another swords. We'll take the Force of Negation. Exhume. Let's do Sarah's Emissary and we'll see instant. How about that? And the Ice Fang Quaddle does not have Death Touch because they do not have 3 snow permanents. Wasteland? Okay. Sure. Draw. Animate Dead. Decent. Let's bring back that Griselbrand. Get in there. They definitely drew the right half of their 80 card deck, but wasn't good enough. One of the problems with these 4-color pile decks is that you can have all the interaction in the world, but their clocks are usually pretty terrible. Okay, so we're likely facing a deck with Endurance in it, but I have to imagine Cough J. They tend to play a lot of weird cards, so I think they probably have some sort of permanent-based hate. I'm going to try Serenity. Take out the Chancellor, 63. Part of me wonders if you're supposed to board out Lotus Petal in the matchup and just accept being a little bit slower. But maybe that's crazy talk. 63. I'm going to try shaving a couple Animate Dead and maybe a land. Is that crazy? Alright, I'm gonna try looting. I don't know, we're just making stuff up. I'm not a Reanimator expert. If you're watching this video to learn how to play Reanimator, there's probably someone better you can be watching, but hey, on the bright side, you get to listen, or yeah, watch me, you know, try to solve the puzzle, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say here. Game 2, we have a hand that does the thing turn 1, but we have no protection. I don't know. I'm going to keep it. Maybe they don't have it. They probably do, but let's see. They've kept their starting 7. Our best draws Grief or Unmask? Or a fetch land. So that way I can cast the Faithless Looting looking for a discard spell. Misty Rainforest, they pass. We had another looting that was not very good. I mean, I think we just jam. We also have Endurance. Like, there's no way that this goes well for us. Dark Ritual. Entomb. Get the Gristle. And let's attempt to put it on the battlefield. Nope. Can't do that. Alright, game 3. Resubmit. Actually, I wonder on the play if we want these. Let's take out some of these other creatures. Let's try this. Submit, submit, submit. Alright. It allowed me to submit. Thank you. And actually, I think we could probably take out Serenity on the play. I don't know if it's going to let me do that. Yeah, no such luck. But we are on the play. Sure. Going out with the mulligan to 6. We'll start the game by revealing the Chancellor. Wish we had a turn 1 play here, because the Chancellor is not even that effective, because all they have to do is play a land and they can still play Force or Surgical or whatever on turn 2. I think we just discarded another land. I'm going to Grief here. Let's try to get ahead of that hate. The hand doesn't do anything. Take Ponder. Their first spell will be countered. Let's bring back the Chancellor. Play a Lotus Petal, I guess. Pass the turn. Well, your Drunk Caracas does not go against Chancellor that well. Let's get in there. I think I'm going to attempt a flashback looting here. See if I can advance the game plan a little bit, push the envelope. Sure. Buy Dark Rituals. So next turn we can bring back Grief, which is, at least it's disruptive. They have land 3. They've not played their first spell yet. So they cannot play Icefang Quaddle, but they could Green Sun for 0 or Brainstorm. Okay, Green Sun for 0, that's fine. Draw. Let's bring back the Exhume, or the Grief, I mean, I'm sorry. Night of Autumn. Does that card matter? So they can play Leovold next turn. Sure, let's take the Leovold, I guess. Maybe I'm supposed to take Brainstorm there? I'm not sure. So the reason I took Leovold was that our opponent can cast it off these 3 lands, and then they have Caracas Leovold, which means that they can keep on blocking the Grief with one other creature and just bounce the Leovold over and over. Chancellor trigger on the Brainstorm. They tap the Dryad Arbor, which is a little bit interesting here. Means that they're not likely going to be able to block this Grief. Another reason to discard the Leovold, not that it's great in this situation, but if this game gets drawn out, if they have the Swords to Plowshares for the Chancellor, I can still come back later with like a Griselbrand or something, and I'm not just locked out of the game. Another Dark Ritual. So they can play an Ice Fang Quaddle and block here, if they so choose. They chose not. Okay. Interesting decision. So they could have gone basic island here, played Ice Fang, paid for the Chancellor trigger. You got it. So they'll gain 4 life with the Knight of Autumn. And our opponent conceded the game, so we are now 2-1. How about that? 2 left. Hey, you're still watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you're looking to make a purchase from Card Hoarder, TCG Player, or Amazon and are looking to support us, you can open up our description down below, and in there you will find our affiliate links. Those same links are found on the homepage of the Epic Storm. But that's not all. We've included a Card Hoarder button on our website that will load the Epic Storm in your Card Hoarder cart to make life simple for you. Match 4, we're on the play, likely against Goblins. Here we have turn 1 Seer's Emissary. I will keep. Goblins sometimes is a deck that plays Karakas, so that is a little bit of a concern, but we're not going to turn away turn 1 Seer's Emissary. So unmask, target us, remove the grief. Seer's Emissary, Badlands, and Reanimate. Force of Will pitching Murktide. Yep. So not Goblins. I mean, that hand did one thing, so it didn't really matter what they were playing. We were always going to make that play. They target themselves with Bobble. Okay. They chose... Oh, they're choosing to fetch, I guess. Sure. Draw. Land pass. Ponder. Alright, they did not shuffle and played a Volcanic Island. That's interesting. We're pretty far behind though, so our opponent has some time here. Draw. A decent one. Let's play the loot. Discard. Animate Dead. Pass. Oh, I forgot that I had... Oh, I'm such a dummy. I forgot that I had Seer's Emissary over there. Whoops. For some reason, in my head, I was like, oh, they answered my thing on turn 1. I guess I'll try to play the Seer's Emissary next turn. We'll pretend that I was playing around Spell Pierce. That was not the case, but we'll pretend. Is this a Murktide? Sure. So this Reanimate isn't even looking that good. Draw. Sure. Let's attempt to Reanimate. Creature. Pass. You've got a Wasteland. Draw. Exhume. Not super great here. We're sort of just forced into passing over and over. They mill Force, we go to 7. If they make the Channeler Delirious, they'll be forced to swing out. But right now they only have instant land. Emissary buying some time. Draw. Okay. So that means that maybe we can get another creature into play next turn. I think I'm going to Entomb on the end step. If I do it in their upkeep, yes, I'm playing around counter spells, but I'm also giving them fuel for making the Channeler Delirious, and I don't want that to happen. Alright, let's end step Entomb. So the question is Griselbrand better than Archon here? I think Archon is actually better. Alright. I would love a non-fetch land here. A non-fetch land, because then I don't put myself in double bolt range. That will also do. Dark Ritual. Interesting. Let's fetch. I'm at 6. The surveil ability will happen. They mill the channeler, which is actually really good for them when I have Exhume in hand. But I guess I can reanimate their channeler here. And then Exhume. Oh, the surveil trigger, I forgot about that. Yes, I'd like to surveil away a Griselbrand. Do you have another force? Fetch. Daze. I will pay. You have daze 3 or force. I will take the Archon here. Wow, we came back. How about that? That was a pretty exciting game. I do think we want the extra Thoughtseize here, and I don't know if we board anything else. Usually these decks don't have permanent base graveyard hate, but maybe that's outdated information. Let's get rid of the Chancellor, and I think we just resubmit. Chancellor gets outclassed very easily in this matchup due to Murktide Regent. Yes. Wow, what a hand. Alright, they have turn 1 Scalding Tarn. So let's unmask, target them, and pitch Animate Dead. They pick up Volcanic Island off their Scalding Tarn, Spell Pierce. So if I attempt to pay for this, I could get dazed. Then I unmask myself and that doesn't work. I'm going to attempt a Dark Ritual here anyway, because I want to see if this resolves. And it does. So they don't have daze. I'm not going to pay. So I unmask, removing, yeah, I can't pay here. Alright, now unmask targeting me. No! Oh no, I just misclicked! Oh no. No, not like this. Not like this. Oh geez. Okay. We don't know if they had the force, but that was just bad. That was bad. Whoops. No excuses. That was just misclick. I very clearly talked through my line. I wanted to remove the Dark Ritual, and I got a little bit ahead of myself on clicking the Archon there. Okay, so we have the unmask ourselves again line. I don't know how good that actually is, though. I think I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to attempt to play it a little bit slower. I'm just going to go lane go. It's turn, they pass. Draw. Badlands go. Volcanic Island, and step Brainstorm. 8 cards. They have not played a land yet. Wasteland is a card that could be likely here. That said, we do have a backup Badlands. Nope, it's just a Scalding Tarn. Curse. That's pretty good. Alright, maybe we can hardcast this Archon. I did not think of Hearse when it came to permanent base to graveyard hate, unfortunately. So I'm 1 mana short of Arcana Cruelty. I'm just going to pass. There's Wasteland. Brutal. There's Delver. Yeah, I'm not feeling super confident about this third game. Come on, Dark Ritual. Just pass the turn. Galver triggers. Reveals Brainstorm. They kept the card on top with Surveil. That's not good for me. Alright, so Brainstorm is resolved. We'll take 4 down to 16. I would still like to draw Dark Ritual because Dark Ritual would mean that I could play around Daze. So we can actually hardcast the Archon here, but it would assume that our opponent has like nothing in hand. It's actually really brutal. Discard 4. I just don't know. I have to draw another Dark Ritual. That's what this is going to come down to. Oh, I could have hardcast Unmask there. That was a mistake. I should have hardcast Unmask. That was bad. Because then a land next turn means I could hardcast the Archon. But I'll take 4 down to 12. Sure. And mill the Daze. Draw. So just to confirm, I can... Yeah, okay, so this still doesn't work. I have to play Unmask. Grab the Badlands. So I need to draw a black card or a land next turn. They put the card on top, which is terrifying. You've got it. If it's a lightning bolt, I'm dead. But I can't imagine they keep in bolt. I guess the channeler isn't delirious yet, so that's not true. I'm not dead yet. Alright, come on, deck. Black card. So if I don't go all in right now, I'm dead to their attack. Yeah, I'm just dead to their attack. So I'll go to 5. If they drew a force, I'm dead. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Surgical Extraction. Sure. So the Hearse is going to become a 6/6. But if the Archon resolves, I'll gain 3 going up to 8. Dark Ritual, you have Daze and 1 unknown. They card you surveilled to the top. That's going to do it. I don't think I can come back now. Alright, my misplay in game 2 bit me in the butt, so now we are 2-2. The best legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. Match 5, chance, get our money back. Let's see if we can make that work. So we have a hand that is capable of a turn 1 Griselbrand, but we have to draw a Reanimate effect. I think that's pretty reasonable. Eldrazi Temple, huh? Okay. Draw. There we go. Let's play Grief, pitching the Archon. Let's get rid of... I don't know. Ulamog, that seems fun. Lotus Petal. Add a red. Loot. Discard Griselbrand and... Looting. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. There's no reason to play a fetch land here, because we can likely draw a land that doesn't make us lose life. Draw. And how much does this thing cost? 10? Why don't we put an Ulamog onto the table? They're not going to let me. That's just rude. Okay. Serenity Inn. I imagine we want Wear and Tear. Probably Chancellor to slow them down on the draw. I think we can just take out discard spells here, because they're not likely going to be good enough on the draw. 67. Take out Grief. 63? Maybe shave a Looting and like 2 Animate Dead? Let's try this. But also board out Sarah's Emissary. Alright, let's do that. Game 2. This seems reasonable to me. Keep. I would like to request that we draw Dark Ritual, please. Opponent with a mulligan to 5. Ley line, okay. We did board in 6 answers to Ley line. Eldrazi Temple, pass, draw. I'm just going to pass the turn. Cloud Post, sure. Draw. I'm still just going to pass. I could play the looting, but I want to try to hold out until we can draw one of our 6 outs. They're still passing. Draw. Alright. I don't think I can sit here forever. Let's cast the loot. Discard a pair of angels. Let's unmask targeting them. Get rid of Arcana Cruelty. Then we can reanimate their creature. With the enemy dead, that is. Exhume will not work the way we wanted to. I have Warping Whale. What? I mean, Warping Whale would currently be countered by a Chancellor trigger, so why not? Let's put a 2/2 onto the battlefield. I guess they can't cast the Warping Whale anyway. This is an enchantment. I am the beatdown. Draw. Hiya. Another Cloud Post, not ideal for me. Draw. Oh, sorry. Did not hit the right key. Draw. Another Reanimate. Get in there. So they can now play their Warping Whale if they so choose. They can ping for the Chancellor trigger. Halfway to Emrakul. Golos, so that's going to trump my Matter Reshaper. I don't know if I get the trigger or if they do. Draw. Please. Pass the turn. The best case scenario is they attack, I block, the trigger works the way that I want to, and then I reveal Serenity. Alright, they got me. Game 3 coming up. I think our configuration's fine. I'm just going to resubmit. So one of the things that I don't like about Serenity is that it feels a little clunky. I've always liked the Reverent Silence builds of this deck, but I understand that it puts you into a 4th color, which can be a little bit awkward, or you just replace white altogether. But I've always really enjoyed Reverent Silence. I'm not sure if it's actually correct or not. I don't play enough Reanimator to know that. But on the few times that I have played it, the no tempo loss aspect is really good. Alright, the final game of this league. Well, we have an answer to Leyline. Try it out. And they kept a hand without Leyline. I've been juked. We will fetch a Badlands and cast this Faithless Looting, trying to find a creature. We found a creature. We also found Entomb, which is really, really desirable. I could cast Unmask, but I really don't want to. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. Chalice. Yep, I figured that was why. Draw. So let's get a little bit of info out of them and cast this Unmask. They have Warping Whale, Karakas. They cannot currently play the Karn. Or the Thought Knots. I'm going to take the Whale and pass. In theory, I could also just reanimate the Chancellor on my turn. Well, my next turn, but I don't want a Chancellor. I really want to put like an Archon into play or something along those lines. Okay, Caracas. Sure. Red, black. Destroy the Chalice. Upkeep, let's Entomb. This way we don't draw the Archon. I mean, I could also just get Griselbrand here. So I would go to 11, draw 7 to be at 4 versus a Meta Reshaper. Let's just get the Archon. Reanimate the Archon. So they do get a Meta Reshaper trigger, but I think the Archon's just so good that it's worth it. So they get to copy a land. Alright, play the Bloodstain, pass the turn. So they can play Karn into a 2-drop this turn, so non-ensnaring bridge. Alright, well now they can play Karn into a 1-drop. Sure thing. So the 2-drop was assuming that they drew a soul land. I was trying to think of worst possible scenario. So they picked up Ensnaring Bridge. We still have 4 answers in our deck and discard spells. Let's try to thin our deck here. Potentially increase our odds of drawing something good. Pick up the Scrubland, draw. We'll attack them. Archon will trigger. They have to sacrifice the Karn. And they'll be at 2 life here. Oh, wow. They discarded Thought-Knot Seer, so I can reanimate their Thought-Knot Seer and take the bridge. How's it feel? Tell me, how's it feel? That was sweet. Alright, we got our money back. Let's look at the deck list quickly. I'm not a Reanimator expert. I don't want to give feedback on something that I'm not super confident in, but I'm not sure if Serenity is actually just better than running Reverent Silence, but I'm not the expert that won the Legacy Challenge 2 weeks ago with it, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not always right. I just happen to like my stuff to be a little bit faster, but perhaps that's not the correct decision in the metagame. Maybe you actually need to hit both enchantments and artifacts. It's entirely possible, but thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Keep storming, not reanimatoring, storming. See you next time. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.